believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, my fellow insomniacs. Welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. How are ya? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the crack of dawn. Well, it's actually not that early at all. It's about 7 in the morning. Been up since 5:30. And man, it's kind of scaring me how used to being up early in the morning I'm getting. I feel like I'm doing the whole going to bed earlier, getting up earlier thing. And the reason I don't like that is that's something an old person does. That is something that old people do. That is not something that my age group, that is not something Gen X needs to be doing right now. But I feel like I'm starting to do that. I'm starting to do the old getting tired at like 8:30 and then getting up at 5. I don't know. It's funny because I've been a night owl my whole life. Always seemed to sleep really well during the day. When I've had graveyard jobs, I loved them because I can sleep like a baby. Well, I hate the term sleep like a baby because babies don't sleep. Sleep like a log, like a sloth during the day when there's all kinds of action going on, all kinds of noise, when it's daylight, totally can sleep. Nighttime, always been wide awake. I've been that way my whole life. But at the same time, even though I have gone to bed really late, I would go to bed anywhere from midnight to 3 in the morning, forever, like my whole life. And even on the days I would go to bed at 3 in the morning, if I had the next day off, I still wouldn't sleep in past like 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's only 5.5, 6 hours of sleep. I'm just kind of at my peak when I was getting the most sleep ever. I was sleeping like 6 hours at my peak. I've always been kind of a 4 to 5 hour sleep kind of person, which is probably why I'm brain damaged. It's probably why I'm bipolar and get migraines. But it's been my whole life. But it's funny because I never wanted to get up too late because I don't want to waste the day, especially in the summer. In the summer, it's so nice out that I don't want to sleep in and waste the day. But I used to get so pissed and so frustrated when my mom would come and when I lived here and she wanted me to visit, I would have to leave here and leave my house because it's a 3-hour drive. I would have to leave here really early in the morning. So my mom wanted me there. Hey, my mom wanted me to be at her house, by like 10 o'clock because she didn't want me to waste the day. And I'm like, 10 o'clock, I'm going to have to leave at 7, and then I'm going to have to get up earlier than that because, to get ready and everything. And so I was like, oh my God. But now it's funny because I'm like, my God, I don't think I ever sleep in like the very latest, very, very latest. If I'm having just a bad day, I'll sleep until 7:30. But the point to this is I feel like I'm getting old because now I'm enjoying my mornings. I mean, I hate it at first. I can't stand it at first. I'm like, oh my God, fuck, this sucks. There's no way I'm getting through the day. This is too much. How the hell do people get up this early? But once you're over the hump, that initial, hatred of the morning and you curse and you yell and scream names at the sky, then you're like, all right, you let the coffee kick in, then that's fine. But I drink coffee to calm me down, not to soup me up. So once you've had that coffee to kind of calm you down, then I like being up in the morning. You just get so much, you just feel like you get a lot more accomplished, So it's not super early right now, but I've been up since 5:30. And the point to all of that is I started thinking. It got me thinking why I don't sleep at night. Why I've never really been a big nighttime sleeper. And it occurred to me that when you come from a background of addiction and abuse, you become hyper aware, hyper observant of your background, of your I can't talk today, of your um surroundings. You become incredibly aware of your surroundings. You become very observant. You notice everything. You notice everything in its place, where everything is, what there is, how many of that thing there is, all that stuff. When you come from a background of addiction and abuse, you pay attention because if anything's out of order, you start to pay attention to people's personalities and mannerisms because if those mannerisms change, you're like, uh-oh, something's coming. If something's out of order, if something's out of place, you just become hyper aware. And at night, is usually when shit goes down. So you become at nighttime, you're just always like waiting for something. And so you can't quite go to sleep because you don't want to let your guard down. You don't want to be vulnerable. You want to be ready for action. I think I'd make a great Navy SEAL. There's that movie G.I. Jane, and there's that scene where they have them all like in a room and they haven't slept at this point in forever. And they purposely like turn up the heat and put on like calming music and things to try to make them go to sleep after they've already been up forever, just to see how they do and try to keep them awake. I'm telling you, I would freaking kick ass at that part. Not any of the rest of it. The rest of it, I'd fail epically. But the staying up part under difficult circumstances, I can nail that one. So it's just crazy because that got me thinking about addiction in general and just how when you grow up around addicts, how much it shapes your personality. Because like I said, one thing again, I think I'd make a great detective, CIA agent, because you do have to be so aware of surroundings. And I've gotten to the point where I'm a little too aware, I think. I notice every little thing. Um, I used to work at Job Corps, and the students thought it was funny to bet how long it would take for me to notice if anything was moved at all on my desk. I mean, moved like, a half an inch, half a millimeter. And they would see how long it would take before I would notice. But when it comes to especially my personal surroundings, like my home, I definitely notice when things are out of place, like immediately. There's an episode on Friends that Chandler, and I think it's Chandler, goes and wants to clean the house and stuff for Monica. And so he does. He moves everything in order to do a good job and clean. But then Ross is like, "Oh my God, Monica's going to kill you because like if the magnets on the refrigerator aren't put back correctly and if everything isn't put back exactly where it goes, like she's going to lose it. She's going to freak out." And I noticed that. I notice when things on my refrigerator are moved. I noticed when any little thing is moved, and I don't like people moving my shit. Like it really bothers the crap out of me. Again, I'm an only child. I will share. I don't mind sharing. I really don't. But I don't like people moving my shit. If I put something somewhere, then that's where it goes. If you're going to use it, I want you to ask. Don't just use things. Ask me. And then take care of those things and then put them back where they go. And the fact that people have to be told that is so weird to me. I can't tell you how many times people have used my stuff without asking, ruined them because they don't take care of them. They leave them out in the rain and they rust, or they drop them and they get loose or broken. And accidents happen. But it's not an accident if you're just being neglectful. If you're just like keeping shit outside is not an accident. Putting things in a different spot than where they belong is not an accident. That's just called laziness. And laziness drives me bananas. And man, we have a lot of lazy people. But my boss used to always tell me I needed to read a book called Don't Touch My Cheese or Don't Move My Cheese. I've never read it, but she's like, that's how she is. She used to tape down shit on the desk. Now that's a little cuckoo. I don't do that. But my boss, when honest to gravy, tape down things like the pen holder. There was a little um, nice little pen holder, and that was taped down so that it didn't get moved. Everything was taped down so that it didn't get moved. And I was like, okay, that's a little overboard. That's excessive. But, she came from a military background. I get it. I get where she's coming from. When you come from a military background, then, and you're used to something, it's how you're raised. I can see that. But I was like, wow, that's a little much. I don't do that. Um, Sorry. Coffee break. Coffee break. One memento. There needs to be like music, elevator music playing while I suck down my coffee. Anyway, so I think it's an only child thing when you notice your surroundings, or no, not an only child thing, but an addiction thing. I think when you come from an abusive or addictive background, you're just hyper aware. But it's also super annoying. It's a blessing and a curse because in one breath, you would make a really great detective, but you're also just constantly noticing everything. And pardon me, sorry. So sorry. You're noticing everything, but you're always like, you never can just sit and chill very often. Like, no matter where you are, you're always like, all right, here's the exits. The exits are there. And then I always do weird things. Like if I go into like I don't know, a Home Depot, go into a store or into a movie theater, I immediately assess who's where and where the exits are and how you can get out of there quickly. And again, this is a good thing and a bad thing. Because number one, I'm always in that kind of negative, on guard, fight or flight state. I'm always in that fight or flight state, which isn't good because then I'm never relaxed and I'm never just enjoying the moment. But it's also good in the sense that, hey, if the shit goes down, I'm your gal. I'm going to be like, all right, here we go. You know, I don't know. It's not always the best way to live. And it's definitely what keeps me up a lot. I'm always waiting for the phone to ring. And it's, again, when you come from a background that I do, where it just seems like bad news, bad news, bad news all the time, I have just gotten where I have to carry my phone on me, not because I'm like a millennial and I need to be like on my phone. And that's not it. It's because I genuinely am scared to death that if I don't have my phone with me, I'm going to miss a phone call. And if I miss a phone call, it's going to be an important phone call. And I've had that happen to me before. I, for once, was like, I'm just going to enjoy the day for a second. I'm going to leave my phone. I went for a walk on the beach and I was gone for like an hour and I just wanted that hour to myself. Went for a nice little walk and I was like, that was great. No one bugging me, not a care in the world. How lovely. And then I come back to like several missed phone calls and my dad went to the hospital. And that's happened to me a couple of times when, I didn't have my phone on me, whether it was on accident or on purpose. And I just feel like those are the times I get the calls. And that really irritates me because I'm such a prepared person. I'm such a let's, prepare for the worst case scenario. And so then when I, take a day to be like, God, I don't need to be such a neurotic person. Let's just chill out. And I swear to you, the one time that I'm like, all right, let's stop being a crazy person. That is the one time that shit happens. So I just feel like I don't ever get to relax, because when I have in the past, it hasn't bode well for me. So I just am just an uptight person that never sleeps. I just go around not sleeping and constantly worrying all the time and being way hyper aware of my surroundings. And I'm just always like, it's ridiculous. I'm like a neurotic chihuahua, panting all the time, wide eyed, just it's awful. And that's not good for your blood pressure. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your mental health, that's for sure. And you throw in insomnia, and I'm just a hot friggin' mess. I'm sure you know. A lot of people out there that are listening to me are maybe the same way. I mean, if you're listening to me and you're a normal person, I'm impressed. Because again, I so appreciate the fact that people have made the conscious choice to listen to me. And especially if you've done so numerous times. But then I also am like, wow, you must be a champ. I don't know if someone is like making you listen to this and holding you hostage, or if you're willingly doing it. But I genuinely appreciate it. It takes a tough person to listen to my podcast. So, thank you. Anyway, those are some things. And it's been about a week since I have visited my hometown, and I was all indecisive last time I did my podcast. I was like, I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to move back home, and I had, all of these reasons. And then the other half of me was like, no, I can't, because I left for a reason. And plus, things aren't bad where I am now. I have it pretty darn good. And if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So I went round and round and round, but I'm like, oh, I'm such a gypsy, and staying in one spot just drives me bananas. But then again, I'm like, okay, but right this moment, what am I going to do? Because my biggest goal, my biggest thing that's most important right now is my grandson, and I want to be around him. So I was like, Courtney, are you going to be happy tootling around, like doing mobile grooming, where you can at least drive around Oregon, and then I could still see my grandson, and I could maybe do that, just be a mobile groomer, go around Oregon. And I could work it out where, I go every 2 months back to the same spot so that customers still have me, and I'm not just doing their dog one time and then I'm like, I'm out of here. Um, and then I could still see my grandson. But then I'm like, okay, but then I'm just going around the state of Oregon, and I've already seen the state of Oregon. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time on in Eastern Oregon, but Eastern Oregon's uglier than shit, and there's really nothing over there. I mean, no offense, anybody that lives over there. I'm sorry. I hate when people say no offense when it is offensive, so I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry if that was offensive. I just don't find Eastern Oregon remotely pretty. I find it very ugly, and I don't think I could live over there. So, or, I'm not going to visit over there. There's nothing there. So, I don't know. So then I just think, shoot. And then I'm like, no, I want my dog rescue. I really, really, right now, we need dog rescues. There are so many dogs that need homes. By the way, if you have not spayed or neutered your dog, I feel like Bob Barker. I feel like Bob Barker, but he was right. If you have not spayed or neutered your dog, why? Please don't have puppies. We have a million puppies. We have a million dogs that need homes. We don't need more puppies. As much as puppies are adorable, and I love puppies. I mean, who doesn't love puppies? They're freaking cute and they're awesome, but we already have a million dogs that need homes. So please, 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 if you have not done so already, please spay or neuter your dog. There are many, if you don't have money, there are many, many programs and people and companies that will work with you, that will help you to pay for all or part of the cost. And plus, don't get a dog if you can't afford it. I hate saying that. I don't mean you have to get the high quality, top rated food or give them fancy schmancy shit. I just mean be able to get them spayed or neutered. That's why getting a dog from a humane society is the best thing to do because you're saving a dog and they've already had their vaccinations and they've already been spayed and neutered. And people are like, oh, God, getting a dog from a humane society costs so much money now. It costs so much money. No, it doesn't, because they're already spayed or neutered and they've already had their vaccinations. Getting a dog spayed or neutered, I just had to pay $1,000, $1,000 to have my female spayed. It's anywhere from like $800 to $1,000 or more, depending on where you live. So already, if you're only paying like $250, which is around here anyways, I don't know anywhere else, but around here is about what you're going to pay if you adopt a dog, anywhere from $200 to $300. And they do that because they have vaccinated them. And again, when you go to get your dog vaccinated, you're dropping at least $70, $60 just for the office visit. Then you add vaccinations on top of it. And if you buy your own vaccinations, great. You can't buy rabies, though. You have to go in and get rabies. You can't purchase it. But if you buy them, okay, great. You're saving money, but you still need to have them spayed or neutered. Plus, again, that money goes to them being able to cover those costs and being able to, when they've had the dog there, buying the food, paying for the power bill, paying for their blankets and all of their care that they need. It's just the best thing to do. I've gone to so many countries and seen how animals are treated. And, even here in the States, it's just so sad. I can't. Oh, Henry, it's just so sad. And so I think about having a dog rescue as my point. Again, if you haven't listened to my podcast before, if this is your first time, you're going to get a lot of this. Squirrel, something shiny, butterfly. It's the ADD and lack of sleep and, all of my neurotic crap. But, I want to do a dog rescue because with North Carolina, with all of the hurricanes and the freezing and the fires, there are a lot of dogs and cats and horses, just animals that don't have a home. But again, if I have a rescue, then I am now staying put and I'm not moving and I can't travel. If I travel, I have to have staff and people that I trust 1,000%. And trust is not something I have for anybody. That's the other thing. When you come from an abusive or addictive background, it's sad because not only do you have that fight or flight thing going on all the time and you're always on guard and you're always aware, but you tend to also not trust anybody ever. Sure, we may trust some people more than others. Maybe we trust our partner or our family or our friend or something. Maybe we trust them more than anyone else. But I don't think you ever actually have trust. Maybe it's just me. I'll speak for myself. Speaking for myself, I can safely say I will never fully trust somebody. I may again trust my partner or my kids or something more than like a stranger or more than maybe another member of the family or something like that. But I'm certainly not trust isn't something. Nora Jean, my dog just tried to grab her dog bowl, throw it on the ground, like, feed me. It's time. Chop, chop. Time to eat. It's not time to eat right now. No. But trust. So if I have a dog, Nora, if I have a dog rescue, then I'm there 24 hours, 365 days a year, and traveling's not an option. And I'm already feeling all claustrophobic and want to travel. And then, I'm not getting any younger. I'm no spring chicken. So it's a whole thing. Living in my brain is just a freaking mess. The housekeeping for my brain, I'm just always picking up a mess, So these are some things. These are some things that are on my brain. And daylight savings time. What the hell? And we keep going, let's get rid of daylight savings time. Let's get rid of it. And then we never do. And then everyone's like, yeah, let's get rid of it. Yeah. And then we don't. What's going on with that, man? I know there are certain states that don't. I know Arizona, and I feel like Montana and Nevada, maybe. I'm just pulling that out my ass. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I feel like Arizona doesn't do the daylight savings time thing, but uh, not positive. Anywho, again, hey, shout out to all the countries that have been tuning in. And again, especially the countries that I make fun of relentlessly. The fact that y'all still tune in shows you have some cojones. I like it. I like it. Cheers to you. Salud. And not just people that I make fun of or that I tease. I appreciate everybody. Every single last one of you. I appreciate wholeheartedly from the bottom of my heart, all of it. Every piece of it says thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell a neighbor, tell family. Say, hey, there's this chick and she rambles and babbles on and on about absolutely freaking nothing. She does not have a good radio voice and she digresses a lot. But check her out because somehow it's worth the listen, right? Especially if you're driving to work, or like I said, if you use my podcast to try to fall asleep, hey, that works for me too. But tell a friend and they appreciate you. I think that's about all that I've got on my brain. I mean, that's not all I have on my mind today, but sometimes you probably don't want, I do share pretty much everything, but we'll see. We'll see what else pops up. But until then, we will catch you on the flip side. That sounded stupid. I don't know why I went with that. Catch you on the flip side. Can we bring that back? Do the little handgun signal? Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have an amazing week. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Keep that head up. Keep it up. Looking forward. Always looking forward, walking forward, moving forward. You got this.